welcome back to the channel. You're watching GLive Game Night. My name is Leo, your host as always. If you haven't yet, click subscribe and like the video if you're enjoying our content. We got here Willow, good buddy of ours from the Gaming Library fam, and a good friend of mine, Mika Fabella. You may have seen her pretty face from the commercials. And of course, the Nationals new season happening once more. Kumusta guys? Willow, how you doing?
It's all good. Been playing more games ngayon. Digital board games. I'm looking for like a really good card game yan. I'm looking at Legends of Runeterra actually. Trying that out, and even yung chess. I'm just looking for something to to ano ba yung board game.
Yeah.
Clinch yung board game feel na yan.
There's an itch that needs scratching.
Okay.
I get that. Mika, how about you? How are you doing?
Good. Thank you again for having me and to talk about one of my favorite genres too.
Yeah. So let's address the elephant in the room. Tonight's episode, we're gonna be talking about Among Us and board games. Quite like it. And Mika, you said your favorite genre. So in what genre exactly do you put Among Us in?
It's funny because when people started playing Among Us, and then I started playing it, of course, and I was like, wait a minute, this is Avalon. This is this is basically Avalon. I'm like, you guys wanna try Avalon? It's so I would put this in the, I guess, like betrayal category, but basically some games wherein you don't always end up working together, and you are. I call it the friendship ending games because it's the games that encourage you to fight and debate amongst each other.
Yeah. Interesting because some of the games, as a quick preface, that we're gonna be talking about tonight, some of them you can actually play completely cooperatively. Like some of them allow you to just not have an imposter. But yeah, now that you mention it, in Among Us, parating may isang imposter. At least parating merong isa. So I definitely see how it's called, how you see it as a betrayal genre. But yeah, Willow, how about you? In what kind of genre do you put Among Us? Which kind of helps us understand what board games are like it?
In board game context, I think Among Us is social deduction. It's not purely deduction kasi hindi lang siya like sleuth or you're just looking for an area or a card, hindi siya clue. Social deduction kasi you're may actions to give you social cues that would say that they are not helping the team. That's the pinaka.
Yeah.
definition of it.
It's a game for me that kind of breaks the genre itself. I totally agree. It's a betrayal game. And it is a social deduction game. It's not exclusive. But to me, besides that, it's a game that breaks the mold. I've watched several documentaries or like video essays on YouTube that describe why people enjoy Among Us. You know, it's meteoric rise and how it kind of bubbled under for the past couple of years. Actually, matagal na siyang out. Parang recently lang natin siya na-discover ng mainstream. And then, one thing that really broke out to me was this one YouTuber kind of stated, I wish I could source them. I wish I could cite them right now, but I watched so many of them that one day, and I'm like, everything is correct. I agree with all of you. Someone said that the main thing that makes Among Us different from most other games that we played is that the crewmates or the good guys always have something to do. They always have an out. They always are on the cusp of winning, which gives the imposters more of a proactive or a heavy responsibility. I don't think you guys agree with that. Compared to games like, again, Avalon, ang lakas sobra nung bad guys. They know who each other are, and essentially they're playing their game. And the good guys are just like, we're blind. Help us, Merlin. So, Among Us is like, this is our ship, imposter. You alien scum. We're gonna do our tasks. You have to kill us while you can, right, Mika? I don't know. Do you agree with this?
That's true. That's really interesting because like you have the tasks, right? So there is also that choice I noticed because like last time I played Among Us, there was somebody who was like this, and it was a really interesting social dynamic where somebody was just like, I'm not gonna vote, basta I was just doing my tasks, huh? I was like, whoa, okay. It's like, no, I don't want any part of it. I'm just doing my tasks. And I was like, aha, that's very interesting. And we were like, but they're gonna win. Like you're the remaining vote. They're gonna win. And he's like, I didn't see it. But basta, I'm just here fixing stuff. I'm like, ha! Syempre ako, I was a crewmate that time. I was innocent that time, and I was like, but why?
Yeah.
So there is that. I like that kind of initiative that comes from Among Us. But parang there are board games that also offer that. I mean, like you do have things to do. Because like for example, if you have betrayal on the House of the Hill, and then you do have, a betrayer, you might have to do other tasks because there are different win conditions for the good guys and the bad guy / guys, diba? But I think the thing with Among Us is that it's a lot, because it's not on paper. It just relies on your actions. It mimics, I guess, real life a lot more.
Yeah.
Because it's all your only defense. You don't have any cards. You don't have anything to do. Your only defense are your words.
Yeah.
So I think that's why it's really appealing also right now.
Actually, you know what? On the other side of that same coin, since it is a video game, it's so hard to notice little subtle cues besides when people are talking, right?
Yes.
There's so many things happening and your vision is only limited by, again, this small cone in front of you. And how can you tell, besides when someone says, I am not voting, or when they speak up, how can you tell na they're telling the truth or that they're, backed up by their actions? That just blew my mind now thinking about it. Ikaw, Willow, is Among Us that kind of game wherein the good guys are more empowered?
I think so. Ang maganda lang actually, the good thing about Among Us lang is laglaga silang may ginagawa. I think that's the best way to tell apart na Among Us is really good compared to some of the board games. Kasi in board games usually parang magvo-vote lang ako dito. I see what you guys are doing. I'll vote here. I'll listen to what you say. Pero there's nothing on the board or there's that I can parang hindi siya quantifiable na parang ano talaga to. Imposter siya kasi may something like that. I think the best ones, the really good ones that yun nga yung mga recommendations ko, like Secret Hitler, yun. But even that, bitin pa rin siya eh. Unlike Among Us, makikita mo, I saw this person at this area, I saw a guy at this area.
Yeah.
Yeah. That the closest thing na you're doing something every turn is, I think, would be Shadows over Camelot and or Dead of Winter. That you're a goal ka kasi for that turn.
Yeah,
Parang
it's essentially a game in itself that just has this layer of social deduction or betrayal on it that affects how you win. Before we go into these other titles, there's something else within Among Us that I want to talk about, and it's just how crazy and how swingy some things can go because, again, of how it is a video game. The way board games work, guys, is the mechanics are pretty transparent. You have the cards, you have the pieces, and essentially the rules dictate how these interact, but it's still up to you how to do it. No? So in chess, if you want the king to move like a queen, pwede. Nobody's gonna stop you except the rules, and it's up to you and your opponent. In the Among Us, you can't just go around kill people and no one's gonna notice because it's coded that way, which makes some things like this amazing. I was playing this one game and I don't know how it happened. It just happened like legit 2 seconds. There was a double kill. And then we noticed dead body found. Tas dalawa agad siya. And we just came from a meeting. So it's moves like that's amazing because wow, you're able to push the game to this limit. We're in like, how do we solve that? Like we just came from a meeting, 2 people died. How do we solve that? So now I'm asking you guys, what's the most awesome thing you saw in Among Us? That's like uniquely Among Us.
I watched this. Do you know this guy's Toast?
Yes, he's a streamer.
I watched him a lot. Yung offline TV, that group that plays Among Us a lot. Grabe talaga si Toast actually. Even actually si Saikuno, I don't know if you guys know. Si Saikuno, he just as in vent killer siya. Siya yung time he would go face a vest. Tapos for some reason he can lie. Hindi siya naglalay. He just doesn't tell the truth. Yun
And
yung personality.
he gets away with it.
Gets away with it kasi no one can see him anywhere else kasi nasa vent lang siya. So yun yung actually parang nagulat ako na ang galing nung game, ang galing nung map na yan. Yeah.
Well, the thing is, this guy Stones is a Hearthstone player, so he has that kind of tabletop mentality. Anyways, it's logic for him. It's like, okay, A, B, C don't work, so it's just definitely D. So it's you, or I said A, B, and C, so I can get away with D. So
Yeah.
I kind of see how that works for this guy's Toast. But yeah, the Vet Killer guy, definitely one good way to play these social deduction games is you tell the truth 99% of the time, and then that 1% you always get away with it. Like no one will ever catch you. It's just how I play most of my social deduction games. Like cool, like I have this, I have this, I have this.
Live.
But
Yeah.
don't.
Yeah.
Diba? So yeah, how about you, Mika? Like any cool plays or any moments from Among Us that are like, huh, that's amazing. That's an only Among Us thing.
The reason why I laugh when you ask that question is because I keep laughing at that video of everybody stacking.
Mhm.
So like when the killer went to kill one, nun pala when they killed them, everybody was behind.
All right. Oh,
I found it so funny because then he tries to walk away but he's like caught by like 3 other people who are
Yeah.
standing there on the same spot as the as the victim.
Mhm.
So it's like, oh, how are you gonna get out of that? Of course he didn't.
yeah. See, so there are moments like that wherein you can essentially break the game again, like in tabletop, wherein you figure out, uy, pwede pala to isang move na to paulit-ulit. So that's how you do it in Among Us. Like you walk all together, and if someone gets away, it's like imposter, gotcha. All right. So now let's talk about games that are similar to Among Us that are on tabletop, and I think these games are actually what inspired Among Us. Willow, you already mentioned one that's very strongly tied to Among Us right now. I think you're saying it's the strongest alternative, Secret Hitler.
Yep. I think Secret Hitler is the best one kasi may cues ka na parang etong people na to, they say na ito yung policies that they got, this is what they put down, this is what they discarded. There's something there. I'm not saying na Avalon or Resistance is bad, but dun kasi parang I choose you, let's go. Oh, may isang fail, but I mean wala siyang I got 3 red cards kaya hindi pwede mag-play ng blue card. That's why I think Secret Hitler is one of the parang closest thing na may quantifiable lying board game.
Mhm. I have a confession to make. Like Secret Hitler has been around and been out for so long, and I've been asked to play Secret Hitler. I never have. I feel bad about saying that, but I just haven't.
I
But-
never have also.
Yeah,
I keep
pero-
seeing it.
Yeah. And dude, I've worked in the stores and I've been asked, meron po kayo Secret Hitler? Meron po kayo Secret Hitler? Minsan meron, minsan wala, but I've never played it. So, I wish I could, but I hear it's really nice, especially now when I actually read into it just very recently. I'm like, uy, cool. It's so unique because you're trying to get Hitler into seat of power as a fascist, and then there's this other group who's like, don't let that guy get in there. So there's this also weird dynamic because you don't know who's who.
Mm-hmm. Actually, ako confession din, yung Hitler ko is still a print and play. I print and played it since 2017 or 18 when it came out. One of my artist pinsans kasi, one of my artists na really made one for me for Christmas, and it's naka-felt siya, the cards are really good. Kaya I've never really bought it, pero that's kasi Secret Hitler, they knew that the game was really good, so they gave it out for free.
Right.
So if you turn off din yung mga tao dun sa team na Hitler, you can just get Secret Pirate, Secret Voldemort if you're into that.
Mhm.
So kaya gusto ko yung Secret Hitler.
Yeah. So essentially, it's a master system na pwede mong iskin. All right,
Yes.
definitely. That's something to talk about. Mika, do you have your favorite alternative, or let's say merong fan ng game ng Among Us and they're like, here, check this board game out. What would that be?
Well, other than Avalon, which is the obvious parang nearest suggestion to my circle of friends, I also love Resistance and Coup as well. I also love doing, I'm giving away my strategy, but I also love doing what you do, Leo, which is like, oh yeah, there was one time there were 6 of us, there were 6 dukes in the same circle. It's like, okay, lahat kami dukes, all right. But yeah, I do love those games as well. And I also I believe this does qualify it doesn't exactly qualify as a social deduction kind of game, but it is a game where you're pit against each other and asked to fight the friendship over games.
Mhm.
It is the Game of Thrones board game because it involves a lot of negotiation and wordplay and eventually possibly backstabbing. I mean, when playing the game, there are those, turning moments,
Yeah.
much like the series, wherein one decision suddenly changes the whole course of the game.
Yeah.
And you're asked, sometimes you can form an alliance, and much like Among Us, you can boot somebody out if you want. Let's kick the Starks out.
Yeah.
You can also do that, but it's because everybody has their own sort of like initiative, and
Yes.
everybody is gunning for that. So
Yes.
it's like on another scale. It's not one against one. It's you against everybody.
Yeah. And again, it's these kinds of games that just have the social layer on it. It's not the main game. I think Among Us just found that perfect middle ground. Because technically, kung tinanggal mo yung imposter doon, it's still a pretty hectic game wherein you're chasing against, you're fighting the clock, you're chasing to keep your ship afloat in space. It just so happens that there's like alien inside. There's a invader among you. But yeah, I definitely agree. And I think that's what makes these games so awesome, is because they're good games first, or they're solid they're solid systems first, and then you introduce this whole social deduction, this betrayal aspect. It's a wrench in the plans, and you're like, ooh, now we're on. All right. To me, I think the closest one, and I think the best one I would suggest for people who are into Among Us, and I hope they're just G for it, is Dead of Winter, because it's the same kind of feeling. It's like, okay, Among Us, we're trapped in space. We need to fix the ship. We need to get home. Dead of Winter, we're freezing out here. Zombies are out the door, but one of us wants to be selfish and survive by themselves. So
That's
parang ganon.
right.
Yeah, and again, Dead of Winter, you can play it as if it was just a co-op.
Yeah.
And you're
Yeah,
not.
yeah.
The only thing I don't like about it is I'm not sure sometimes if there's a good guy or bad guy. That's what's scary.
You could just be fighting, like a lack of food, or
Yes.
fighting against hypothermia, right?
Yes.
And you never face a zombie.
Yeah, and that's what makes me sad about it is, we talked about this in another episode about cooperative games, is it's a misery simulator. It's like, oh, I can't do anything. This is so bad. 3 of my dudes are one hit away.
I'm gonna die alone in this
yeah.
corner.
Like, there's no food. Zombies are at the door. Again, it's some people enjoy that. So,
Yeah.
ako, like, me, not so much, but if we're looking for suggestion, if we're looking for alternatives, again, that's as close to Among Us as you can get. That would be mine, Dead of Winter. How about you guys? What are some board games that you would suggest for people who are fans of Among Us, or even video games? That's a more interesting question, actually. Video games for fans of Among Us. What would you suggest if you enjoy this weird spaceman alien social deduction game, right? Put it in the comments below. But to wrap up this discussion, I've got one more question for you, Mika and Willow. We'll start with Willow, though. Whenever you're playing these social deduction games, are you better as the good guy or the bad guy?
I'm a bad guy. Bad guy talaga, actually.
Okay, how? Why is that?
People keep saying about, hindi ko alam. Actually, just the way I siguro, or the way I try to conduct yung game sa kanila. Parang, oh, hindi, good guy yan. He wouldn't do that. At saka weird kasi yung mga tactics kanya na parang, why would one person, let's say Among Us, why would one person lie where the body is kung innocent siya? Mga ganun type. Pero even if I'm innocent, minsan kasi I lie about the body just to get the passing of the people, and then I tell the truth afterwards. So, na parang, siya pala yung imposter. Pero pag imposter ako, I still do that. People see na parang, hindi, mabait si Willow, anak siya ng ganyan. Tapos, magugulat sila, nagsisinungaling si Willow.
How dare he? I trusted him. But yeah, again, I think that just goes hand in hand with being the one who usually teaches the games, no? Like, I taught you the game, so I'm gonna show you how to play well. It's just, well, as a bad guy.
Yeah.
But how about in groups na established na? Like, let's say you're playing with us, right? GLive. Kumusta yun? How does that work?
Yeah.
Are you still good as a bad guy?
I don't know, you have to see. Pero I think I still would rock it as a bad guy.
Okay. Alright. Everybody just wants to be a bad boy, I guess. How about you, Mika? Better as the good guy or the bad guy?
Here's the interesting thing, because yeah, it's a social deduction game, and it's those type of games wherein you the experience is different with the different groups of people, diba? It depends on which group of people I'm with. But in general, if it's a board game, I am great at being the bad guy. But in Among Us, I suck at being the bad guy. And in mind, I'm gonna defend myself. I'm gonna defend myself. I think it's because I'm not the imposter enough, so I don't have enough practice. I'm like always the crewmate, and it's the most boring thing ever. Like I want to
see.
be the imposter, so I've only been the imposter like less than 5 times. So syempre pag like oh, I don't know where the vents are. I don't know
How do I get away with this? How do I do this?
exactly.
That's
I don't have enough practice.
That's also a tactic that an imposter could say. Na parang, no, I've never played into this before.
This guy. Ako, here's the thing. I am not a super cerebral player. Like, I enjoy the emotion of a game more than the, I outsmarted you kind of plays, no? So, whenever I do figure out who the imposter is and I get it, I forget how I did it in 0.5 seconds. Because I'm so overwhelmed by like, yes, I figured it out. I got you. Right? Die, alien scum. But just the same, whenever I am the bad guy, I tend to roleplay a lot. So,
Yeah.
I guess my answer is bad guy kasi mas fun siya para sa akin. Because whether or not I get away with it, there was at least one moment wherein I duped someone. Or at least I did something fun to make someone else miserable. And that's all I want, right? Because that's your job as the bad guy. Whether or not I get away with it in the end, I had fun. And that's more fun to me than spending the next 10-15 minutes going like, who is this? Ganyan, 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 ganyan.
That's why I feel like I'm also a better bad guy in the board game, because I play on the emotion. It's like I will win you over. You're not voting me out. I will win you over. Yung ganon.
Yeah. And then either they feel bad later on because you're lying, or they feel good. It's like, thank God I trusted you. We won. All right. So guys, it's now your turn. Tell us, are you better as the good guy or the bad guy in these betrayal/social deduction games, whether it be Among Us or one of these board games that we're talking about? Put it in the comments below. All right, that's gonna be it for our discussion on Among Us and board games like it. If you're enjoying our content, please click subscribe and watch out for more videos just like this from GLive Game Night. On behalf of Mika and Willow, my name is Leo, your host as always. We'll see y'all next time. Have a great day.